All right. Yes.
Don't do it.
Yes.
Don't do
All
it.
right.
We're
I
good.
am live. Posting live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. I am having a threesome.
God damn it.
Corey, the Red Sea, my Arizona Cardinals super fan, and Alex, A.K.A. the Homeland, my New England Patriots super fan. Welcome, guys. How are you guys doing today?
Listen, first of all, we need to talk about this intro, Dan. We got to talk.
The
We gotta talk
intro
about-
is
we got to talk about this
you guys love the intro. I hear this, I see it. It's fantastic. All right, no, I am echoing here. I apologize. That's on me. Okay, there it is. I just wanted to make sure that I'm on both Twitch and on Facebook. But man, how you guys doing, man? What a great week! What a great exciting week! Great exciting week. In case you guys missed it, on Friday on the show, I actually bet on New England to cover 4.5 and Pittsburgh to cover 4. Then I went ahead and won my very first prop bet. I took Najee Harris over 58.5 yards rushing, which ended up getting me 4-1. Dallas ended up having a really big win. We're going to start off kind of on a tragic note here. I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on something that's really bigger than football. For those of you who don't know, Henry Ruggs was involved in a high-speed car accident. Piers Alcohol's involved. Released from the Raiders. Kind of want to get your guys' opinion on this and what this means for the AFC and the AFC West. Man, Alex, since you are our Patriots super fan, by the way, great win against the Chargers
Fantastic
last week.
win.
Yeah, it was great game. How does this affect both the Raiders, the AFC West, and the AFC?
Well, okay, so for starters, that's a big hit for Las Vegas, especially. I can't list all the assets they have in the wide receiver core. I know they have Zay Jones and Brian Edwards and whatnot, but that's a big hit to their offense, definitely. But I think they're gonna do fine, honestly, because they've been using a lot of Darren Waller. I mean, considering Henry Ruggs has been out the past couple of weeks, right? Because I can't remember the last time he played. I don't know if he played last game. I literally can't remember. But if they've proven that they can play without Henry Ruggs. Like he's not Darren Waller. Without Darren Waller, that's a problem.
Yeah, he's definitely their number one.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like, yes, it'll be a setback for him, but I don't think it's that big of a hit. But for Henry Ruggs himself, that's his life's over pretty much.
Well, let me ask you this though. The Raiders had, well, technically it's depending on how you look at it because they had a bye, but they were 5-2. The other 3 teams are 4-4. I thought that the Raiders had a legitimate chance to not only win the AFC West, but to maybe represent a wide open AFC in the Super Bowl. Now, your opinion, you're saying it's not going to affect this team. So is this still a team that's in contention for the AFC West title and maybe an AFC title? Or
I think that this team, even without Henry Ruggs, still has the potential to go to the playoffs. That's not deniable. I mean, especially looking at their schedule. I'm going to pull it up right now. Hang on. Especially with their schedule, I think they have the next couple games are pretty tough. This Sunday, they play the Giants. Mm-hmm. Cool. Easy win. Chiefs, Raiders, I want the Raiders to win because I just don't want the Chiefs to win. But the Chiefs will probably win that one. They'll probably lose to the Bengals. The Cowboys do not deserve to win any more games, so I want the Raiders to beat the Cowboys. They're going to beat Washington. Washington's been the biggest disappointment besides Miami. And then they play the Chiefs again, so that's another divisional game. They'll probably lose that one. Cleveland's been iffy right now. I don't know what's going on with Cleveland. They'll beat the Broncos. They'll beat the Colts. And they'll probably beat the Chargers if the Chargers play like they played in New England. So, that team they have the potential to go to the playoffs. So, it's It's there. It's can they pull it off? That's the question.
All right. All right. Hey, Corey, what is your opinion on the whole thing?
He has just ruined his life and ended the life of a 23-year-old woman and her pet puppy.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those situations. It's kind of bigger in football. It's kind of hard to say.
When I first heard the news, I originally thought he was one of the victims of the car crash, like somebody ran into him. Because you don't expect this to happen to an athlete. But as more and more news started to break, it's painfully obvious that Henry Ruggs is completely at fault here and is facing 2 to 20 years in prison for just this charge. The DUI resulting in death. Just this charge, he's facing 2 to 20 years in prison.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it just this is one of those stories that's unfortunately just bigger in football. Just from a football standpoint, how does this affect the Raiders? I mean, they had a 2-game lead in the AFC West. I thought that they were a possible Super Bowl team. Is this something that's just going to make the Raiders fall apart, in your opinion, or can they rebound from something like this?
Well, it helps that since a lot of teams are hurting right now, it helps that they have a 2-game lead in their division. So I think they'll sneak in. I don't think they'll win the division. I think that's either Denver or if Kansas City gets their shit together. So I don't think they'll win their division, but I think they'll get it.
All right. My opinion's a little different. I think that this with Gruden just one of you guys has got an echo. I think
it's Corey.
Corey, you got an echo going on. I'm going to mute you just for a little bit, see if you can get your audio issues resolved. I'm going to go through some comments here. I got some great comments here. I know that there is some Michigan State love. For those of you who are not aware, Michigan State played in a fantastic game. I got to watch this whole game. I was really excited. They were down 30-14 late in the third quarter, came back, won. Derek Walker scored 5 touchdowns and I think is now the Heisman front runner. This, by the way, if you watch enough college football, you could tell the team that's got more talent pretty easily. Michigan's got much more NFL talent than Michigan State does. It's very evident. And when they were up by 16 late in the third, I was thinking, okay, it's no big deal. You know, you lose to a more talented team, but they came back and won. This was just big, fantastic win for Michigan State.
Kenneth Walker just skyrocketed his draft profile. They won the game because of him.
Oh, absolutely. I want to see what he does at the combine. I also want to know why he left Wake Forest. I mean, if he wasn't getting playing time at Wake Forest, now Wake Forest is also ranked, but this is not a football powerhouse. I kind of want to know that situation.
Well, isn't he leading the entire FCS in rushing?
Yeah.
Now?
Oh, yeah. He's averaging almost 200 yards a game, and then
that's ridiculous.
But yeah. But it's Kenneth Walker. Okay, my mistake. But great game. Great game. Funk puts in here. It's. I have a hard time. I have a hard time believing that a football team can handle losing Gruden and this. Another thing is that, and keep in mind, I'm not trying to be cold here. I'm not trying to be cold, but I mean, we all know this is bigger than football. I'm just kind of focusing on the field. I mean, there's so many things off the field. A life was lost. I mean, this is horrible. On the field, you have another first-round pick that was a miss, a big miss. I was adamant that the best receiver was Jerry Jeudy. Most people said it was CeeDee Lamb. Both of these guys would have been better picks. And this isn't the first time the Raiders whiffed on a first-round pick. You got Damon Arquette, who I don't think is even
Arnett,
I don't even know what's going on with him. And then Klein Farrell, the number 4
Glennon.
for all. The complete. So you have 3 first-round picks in, 4 years? That's just been a complete disaster for the Raiders.
Jonathan Abrams is horrible.
He's one of the better. He's actually their second best first-round pick. And
and that's bad.
Yeah,
because he's bad.
I actually don't think he's a bad player. I think they need to use him a little different.
No, Jonathan Abrams, he's bad. He's bad.
I don't know. I actually kind of like him as a player, but that's your second best first-round pick over the last 4 years.
And I thought Steve Keim was bad at drafting.
I thought Bill Belichick was bad at drafting. Holy shit.
Okay, you drafted Tom Brady. Yeah. You have no room to talk.
Shut up.
I drafted Josh Rosen and Robert Kimdichie.
That's your fault, not mine.
Exactly.
One Pride 40 puts in sad because he had a lot of potential to be a top 10 slot receiver.
Did.
I don't think he was just a slot receiver. I mean, he was
a deep threat. He was a nice deep threat. Henry Ruggs go fast.
They wanted Ruggs to be a Tyreek Hill type of player because Gruden. A lot of people don't know this. Gruden and Andy Reid came up together in the 90s with the Green Bay Packers organization. You could look at the Raiders organization. They were trying to build a team very similar to Kansas City. And that was your Tyreek Hill clone. And with him being out, I think it sinks the Raiders. I really do. This was a team I think could have. I thought that they were going to win the West, to be honest with you. Well, honestly, when Gruden was fired, the whole Gruden situation, I thought that kind of sunk the Raiders. And I was like, well, maybe they can come back. They're not coming back from this. They are not coming back from this. Did the safety from Michigan State have a good game? Sorry, I haven't watched it yet. That I don't know.
Which safety are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I just paid attention to Walker scoring 5 touchdowns. That Aiden Hutchinson guy, I think his draft stock goes way, way up. I think he's putting himself in the top 10, even though Michigan lost. So.
Well, he was already in the top 5 because he's number 2 edge for a lot of people.
Next thing I want to talk about is Odell Beckham Jr. He was sent home from practice. Don't read into a lot of stuff you see on social media. He's still with the team. He was just sent home. Kind of want to get some. Kind of want to hear what your guys' opinion is. Corey, I mean, I know you're my NFC guy, man, but Odell Beckham, man, what do you think of this story?
Well, the source that just released like 2 minutes before we went live was that the Browns could possibly release one Odell Beckham Jr. The source that I saw this from is hardly ever wrong. The source reports stuff really quickly, faster than Ian Rappaport sometimes. So if that's true, then Odell's going to be on the market for anybody. And I just don't see him with Cleveland anymore. Like, he doesn't like Baker. Baker doesn't like him. The offense is worse with Odell on the field. Just cut your losses, get rid of Odell, move on. You have Donovan Peoples-Jones. You have Jarvis Landry. You have pieces for Baker to succeed. Get rid of Odell. He's not needed. Just move on with your lives. Send him somewhere else.
All right. Alex, what do you think, brother?
He won't be there. I will put money on that he will not be there. And I don't normally bet on stuff. But I will only bet if I know I'm going to win. He will not be in Cleveland.
Okay.
He does not want to be there. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I was talking about it. I was like, listen, guys, the sole reason that Cleveland has not been as dominant as they were last year is because of one Odell Beckham, because he wants touches. He wants touches like he's the best receiver on the team. But honestly, I don't even. It's blatantly obvious. Like there, and plus, like Corey said, because I think we can both agree on this. Baker has other options at wide receiver. Donovan Peoples-Jones has been very good, in my opinion.
He got the Hail Mary against me. I know.
Exactly. He's been very good. You already have Jarvis Landry. You have the weapons to succeed without Odell. Look at what they did without him. Went to the playoffs for the first time in a very, very long time. like you don't need him. At this point, he's just a guy wanting more touches.
No, I agree completely. A lot of people refer to that great catch he had when he was with the New York Giants, the famous, outstretched one-handed catch. But a lot of people overlooked that they lost that game by double digits. The one thing about Odell Beckham is he's a fantastic athlete. He's entertaining, but he's never helped the team win. He didn't help the Giants win. The Cleveland Browns were not any better or worse with him in or out of the lineup last year. I don't know if he's going to be with the team or not. I just don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters if he's with the team or he's not with the team. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Browns get rid of him. It'll be interesting to see where he goes if somebody even wants to deal with it. Because right now it just seems like a headache for a guy who ultimately doesn't help you win games. So
knowing Bill Belichick, he'll probably try and pull a stunt.
I don't know. I really don't know. They got rid of Cam Newton because they wanted to make sure that the locker room didn't have problems, and I actually think that if he's going to go anywhere, the team that makes the most sense to me would be the Saints. But as of right now, he's still with the Cleveland Browns organization. He was just sent home from practice. But I personally, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I just move on. He doesn't really help you win. He really doesn't, which is sad. But I mean, it's sad for a player that talented just doesn't equate into wins and losses.
He's like the cheerleader of a high school project. Doesn't really do anything. Just kind of sits there. And
that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's stick with the AFC here with Derrick Henry out. We all thought, I think we were all in agreement that Buffalo is probably the best team in the AFC.
Yes.
I thought you could make an argument for Tennessee, but with Derrick Henry out, now Tennessee got very lucky, and they did get lucky in beating the Colts.
That's so lucky.
Extremely lucky. For those of you who didn't see the game, in overtime, Jonathan Taylor's wide open on 1st and 10. All right. He's wide open. He's going to get a first down. Instead, for some reason, Wentz throws into triple coverage, gets picked. Titans win the game if he just throws to Jonathan Taylor. The Colts should have won that game. They really should have won that game.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry out. Now, Tennessee has a big lead, so I still think that they could win that AFC South. Maybe the Colts could come back and win that division, but I think you have to rule them out for being in competition to what looks like Buffalo.
Yeah,
is the best team in the AFC.
If they do go to the playoffs, they won't make it past the wild card.
I agree completely. I don't.
Even if Derrick Henry comes back, he's not going to be 100% because he just came off of an injury, and we know what
a foot injury for a running back is not something light.
Yeah, no, it's not something you could take lightly.
I do like that they signed Adrian Peterson and a player by the name of Dante Foreman. A lot of people won't know that name, but at Texas, he ran for over 2,000 yards. I love this kid coming out of Texas. He was over 250, ran a 4.51 at the combine. For some reason, it just didn't work out in the NFL, but in the Titans.
Oh, he went to the Texans. That's why it didn't work.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, he went to the Texans. That franchise. The Texans are basically the Detroit Lions of the AFC.
Oh, wow. God, I've got some Lions heat in here.
Lions. We could talk about y'all.
Yeah, y'all are not winning the game this year.
Mike guaranteed a win. So
you lost 44-6.
Yeah, that was the one team y'all were supposed to beat.
I will jump on that. I actually was expecting Detroit to win that game.
Oh, yeah,
I knew early on. Once they got down by 17, Detroit just doesn't have a type of team that can come back. I do think they are going to win a game. They're not going winless. It's kind of a shame of what's happening, but so we all kind of agree that Tennessee could make the playoffs. They're just not going to be one to
not go to the championship. No.
All right, fair enough. All right, now let's get back into the content I really wanted to talk about, and I really want to hear about this from Corey. Big trade with the deadline, the biggest trade that was there. I'm actually surprised because I did not see this coming at all, but I want to get your opinion. All right.
Then you know exactly what he's talking about. Too. You know exactly.
Yeah, I know exactly. And this is exactly what I'm talking about with when Dan says Cardinals are getting props. No, we're not. Because okay, so the Cardinals signed J.J. Watt and A.J. Green in the offseason. The narrative is immediately, oh, they're too old. They can't play anymore. They're just Arizona's a retirement home. Just write them off. They're not going to do anything this season. The Rams trade the remaining day 2 draft picks to trade for an edge rusher who hasn't done anything in God knows how long, who's on the wrong side of 30, and now they're Super Bowl contender.
Well,
please listen to this double standard.
Forget about the talking heads in the media. I got an Arizona Cardinals knowledgeable fan. I can vouch for you. What does this really mean for the Rams?
I honestly don't think it means anything. If anything, he's just gonna take away snap from Leonard Floyd.
Well, I was under the impression they would play opposite ends of each other.
Well, you figure Aaron Donald's going to play the other one, and Samson Mabukum.
Mm-hmm.
He's not starting. Is basically the
unless they move AD to defensive tackle, which they probably won't do.
Well, the way I understood it, Donald plays defensive tackle, Floyd will play one outside linebacker spot, and Miller will play the other.
Donald plays the end.
Yeah, I know, but that they're saying to compensate, they would put
basically what you have is you would have Floyd and Miller on the outside.
Then that just defeats the purpose of having Samson Abukum because he also plays on the outside.
All right, so basically what you're saying is that this isn't really going to help the Rams then.
No, not really. There's nothing that's really different about it at all, if anything.
Yeah, I mean,
the guy who destroyed Cam Newton in the Super Bowl. Yeah, okay, cool. What's new?
I mean, that was a long time ago. He's not been the same player.
No.
I don't get me wrong. I love the fact that the Rams are adopting. This is actually, a lot of people think this is a new philosophy. It's not a new philosophy. There was an old coach. You guys may not know who he is, but a coach by the name of George Allen. He coached in the 70s. And what his philosophy was with draft picks is, why do I want to use a draft pick on a player coming out of college and I have no idea what he's going to do? So he would trade his whole drafts away for veteran players that he knew what he was getting out of them. So I love the fact that the Rams are getting they're going for broke. They're doing the same thing George Allen did in the 70s, and he had a lot of success, never won a Super Bowl, but he had a ton of success doing this. I love the fact that the Rams are going for it. This isn't the same guy who's a top 10 player in the National Football League, though, and that's something I was thinking. I think a lot of people are saying that, hey, you're getting a Hall of Fame caliber player. Well, no, you're not. Just watch what he did with Denver for the last couple of years. I do think, however, it's more telling on Denver. It really looks like to me Denver's just kind of waving the white flag and saying, look, let's get some draft picks. We need some help. Bridgewater's okay. We can't compete in the AFC West, which is really disappointing because, I mean, they're in a 3-way tie for second place, and the Raiders are in self-destruct mode. Denver Gators not here, but I'd love to hear his opinion because I think this is more telling for the Denver Broncos waving a white flag than it is for the Rams. So that's just my opinion. Jalen Nagar. The Lions came out so flat, it was horrible. The Steelers shit the bed. Well, I'll tell you what. I bet on Friday's show. I actually took Pittsburgh, so I was very happy that they are on the winning side. I need them to get over 8.5 wins, but yeah, I was really disappointed. I really thought that this was a game the Lions could have won. Funk. I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry.
This was their win on a silver platter. Philadelphia's awful, but nope.
Wait, Vaughn is no. I'm not going to say he's washed up, but he's not the Hall of Fame caliber player who terrorized defenses. I mean, he came back from an injury. I thought that he would be helpful, but Bradley Chubb is a better outside linebacker for the Denver Broncos. He's going to come back from injury in a few years, but
years.
In a few games, but I don't know the timetable for his return, but when he comes back, I mean, he's going to be the best player on that front seven. Von Miller just hasn't really looked the same. I mean, I think he could help the Rams. Don't get me wrong, but last week when we did the show, we talked about top teams in the NFC. Corey and Alex both have the Cardinals. I'm still under the impression the Cardinals are the best team in the NFC, according to you guys.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
We need a run defense badly. Help.
And
Aaron
even though
Jones scary.
Lost, I don't see. I think that when the playoffs start, matter of fact, I'm going to say this right now. It wouldn't surprise me if the 1 seed ends up being the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't think that they're. Or who do they play?
Dallas, nobody. That's the problem.
Exactly. So I could see them getting the 1 seed, but I could see them maybe winning that one. Maybe winning that. You know what? Let me see here, because if they get the 1 seed, they would get a bye, and I think that they would be a one and done. I don't think the Cowboys can.
Hell no. They play shit for good teams.
But could the Cowboys get the 1 seed? And the answer is absolutely they could, because their schedule is going to be easy. That was a good win. That was a good win Sunday. Of course, they were my.
The only one who can really contend with them is Green Bay and Arizona. Arizona can't get the 1 seed, but as long as we beat Dallas at the end of the year, it means Dallas can't get it. As long as Dallas doesn't get it,
I wasn't even sure. Without looking at the schedules, Arizona does
we play Dallas. We play Dallas.
Okay, that's.
I would beat Dallas.
I would be surprised if Arizona didn't win that game. They are. I would be really surprised if Arizona didn't win that game. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas ends up with the 1 seed.
Depends how good our run defense looks by the time that game rolls around. Later in the season, second to last week.
But I still have you both guys on record. Did you think Arizona's the best team in the NFC?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I got Funk saying, I remember saying Watt will get hurt, LOL. But the Rams are already a contender, and a limping Kyler is why they are falling off. So adding a veteran rotational outside linebacker is a bad thing, ? It's not that it's really a bad thing. It's just that you're not getting the same caliber player that you're getting a couple of years ago. You're not getting a Hall of Famer in the mix. You're getting Hall of Famers on the back end of his career who really didn't do much with Denver. I like the fact that Denver's saying, hey, look, we're getting the second and the third. We're going to rebuild for the future. But when I look at this trade, it signaled more for Denver waving a white flag on the season that they're in contention to win the AFC West and to get to the playoffs. It looks like Denver saying, nah, we're good. We're just going to wait till next year. That's kind of what it says to me more. And it says, hey, look, the Rams did something good. I still think the Rams are I actually still think Tampa Bay's the best team. I think Arizona.
Absolutely not.
I think Arizona is I think right now, maybe the second best. The Rams, I still think, are third. Whoever wins that NFC West, whoever loses in that division is going to give the 4 seed a ton of problems, whether it's Arizona or LA. So,
and that 4 seed's probably going to be.
It's not going to be New Orleans. New Orleans season is pretty much fucked because they don't have.
The 4 seed will probably be Tampa because Dallas is probably not going to lose another game if not Arizona. Green Bay has a cakewalk for their division.
Yeah, I mean the NFC, I think is going to be really interesting. But yeah, I could see the Cowboys getting the 1 seed, Arizona or the Rams. I could see that being a 2 or maybe even a 3. But I mean, whoever has that 4 seed, let's say it's Tampa Bay, that's going to be a tough game. Whoever gets that 4 seed, so that's going to be a tough one. I still think that when everything's said and done, I think Tampa Bay is going to end up in the Super Bowl. To me, they look like they're still the best team in the NFC. But I mean, we still got half of football left to play here. One pride, they are really overhyping the Rams, and they got rid of their picks. It's actually funny. I have it pulled up here.
I think they're in line for a compensatory third, but aside from that, they don't pick until day 3.
That's correct. They have, as of today, as of right now, they have a pick in the 5th round and 2 picks in the 7th round. And while that's awesome,
great philosophy,
it's awesome. for this year, but for the future, it really causes some problems, especially if they want to try to build through the draft. I was never a guy that had the Lions winning 8 games. I never liked Goff, and I knew what he was, and I was told by a lot of people I was wrong. Now people are complaining about what I said.
Luke G is not happy right now.
Well, I'll tell you this. Even when you guys did have a really good quarterback in Stafford, you weren't winning games. The one thing that you can say, and without watching as much of the Lions as you guys have, I'm going to just go with your saying, is that you don't have a quarterback. The question is, do you draft a quarterback this year? Can you make a move for a quarterback in free agency? Do you want to roll the dice on a 1-year chance? You're going to have Drew Lock. That's an available option. Do you want to roll the dice on Jameis Winston? He's going to be a free agent. I doubt the Rams. The Saints will re-sign him. They may want to. But do you want to go with somebody like Cam Newton? Let's say the trade happens after the season's over and Tua's available and Deshaun Watson is in Miami. Do you want to go with Tua? Do you want to go with Fitzpatrick for a year? Ben Roethlisberger, he may be available. Do you want to see if Ben will
sign his old
year in Detroit? You have some options, but more than likely your best option is to just draft the guy this year. And is there a guy in the draft that you really want to take? That's kind of your option. I don't know. My personal opinion is that the Lions are really going to fall in love with Desmond Ridder, the University of Cincinnati quarterback. I think his stock after the season, I'm speculating. This is a pure guess. This is just me guessing. I think that teams are really going to love this kid. I've heard him talk a couple times. He sounds like he's a bright kid. I think NFL teams are really going to like him, and I think that he's a guy who will end up somewhere in the first round. It's just a question of where. And that's a guy who I got a feeling Dan Campbell is going to really push to get this kid. So, hey, doesn't Aaron Rodgers have to miss the next 10 days because he's not back? So I wonder how love will look. Okay. It doesn't. Okay. I kind of don't want to do the pro-con vaccination. This is the wrong channel for that. Aaron Rodgers tested positive. He will not play in Kansas City. I actually was going to bet on Green Bay. Green Bay opened up as a 3-point dog at Arrowhead, and I'm thinking, well, Kansas City played Monday. Green Bay played Thursday. That's an additional 5 days that they have on Kansas City, even though they do have to travel to Arrowhead. I was thinking to myself, this is great. I can get 3 points, and Green Bay is going to win this game. Now it looks like the line is, I believe it's officially off. Let me take a look here. I just refreshed it just a sec. Okay, the line. Wow. The line at one point was Kansas City -3. It is now Kansas City -7.5. This is a giant. Wow.
Jesus Christ.
They're just that bad. Damn near lost to the Giants.
I still may take Green Bay plus 7.5, and I'm a Chiefs fan. That's a big line. But yeah, he'll miss this week. He'll come back, and it won't be that. I actually don't think it's that big of a deal because they can lose a game, and thanks to the Vikings losing on Sunday night, they'll win the North. It doesn't matter if they win a game. So. It's really not that big of a deal because it's an AFC opponent.
I got a question. Doesn't Patrick Mahomes lead the league in picks right now?
Yes, he does.
He does.
Yes, he does.
So the best quarterback in the league apparently leads the league in picks as well. Huh.
Well,
I
will say over half of Mahomes' interceptions have bounced off a receiver's hands or in Monday night's game helmet. That's something that's a little frustrating, but I love the way Mahomes has handled it. Just saying, hey, I need to get better when there's not much you can do when the ball bounces off a receiver's hands. But
His family is screwing him over. That's all I see.
I told Chiefs fans losing Watkins may be a big deal because you really don't have a number 2 wide receiver. Josh Gordon really isn't the answer. Chiefs fans were pretending that he was a Pro Bowl receiver. He's not. He's a guy just getting a handful of snaps. Miracle Hardman had a good game, but he's been inconsistent. DeMarcus Robinson, a guy who was drafted before Tyreek Hill, has also been extremely inconsistent. The Chiefs are they may use this tight end they just traded for in the passing game. He's a special teamer, so he's not really going to have a big impact on offense. But the Chiefs could be trying to go back to more two tight end sets and a little 11 formation. So.
Will Melvin Ingram be playing in this game?
This week, maybe. I actually I'm going to find out about it. But that was
need him.
That was a really, really good pickup. I've always liked Melvin Ingram. Loved him out of USC. When I say USC, that's South Carolina, not Southern Cal. The Gamecocks call themselves USC. Also, it's always thought that was kind of strange, but
they're not USC.
No, but they call themselves USC, and I loved them coming out of South Carolina, and I was really hoping he would come to Kansas City. Technically, he's best suited to be a 3-4 outside linebacker, but he'll be an excellent defensive end in this defense, and I think late in the season he could end up being starting, and maybe they'll move Chris Jones back to the inside, but. I'm as a Chiefs fan, I don't want this to be a Chiefs-centric conversation, but I do have to admit, with everything that's gone on in the AFC West, I think the Chiefs have to be favored to win the West. So,
I would like to point out something. Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
So App State, we had our homecoming game, and that wasn't even a game. That was terrible. That was very bad. We played fucking ULM, and the score was 49-7 by the half.
Okay.
ULM is bad. Who gave them the right to have a football team?
All right. I wish we would have known sooner. We could have went ahead and bet. We could have bet on App State. We should have known. Good God, now honestly would rather just deal with golf. Seriously, don't waste money on anyone unless it's a kid they draft in the 4th round or later. You're gonna have a lot of picks. It wouldn't surprise me if they take a quarterback, and it wouldn't surprise me if you trade up. And the reason why I say this is that you're a top 5 pick. Probably not going to take a quarterback there. But I could see them trading up. And by the way, that's what Buffalo did. They traded up. If I'm correct, Josh Allen, I think, was 11th, maybe the 12th. And I could see something like that. I could see them trying to trade up.
Rosen went 10th.
I'm sorry?
Rosen went 10th. I think that was his draft.
Yeah, Rosen went 10th, and I think Allen went afterwards. I want to say Allen went 12th. Now I'm thinking if Rosen went 10, I think Allen went 12. I could be wrong on that, but I could see Detroit trading up in the middle.
Because Baker was first, Sam was
3rd. So,
yeah.
and Ritter
Sam went to the Jets.
Profile. Ritter does fit the profile Campbell described before the stat. Yeah, I'm telling you this right now. I think Dan Campbell's really going to fall in love with this kid, and I could see him going into teens somewhere. And if you want to trade up for a quarterback, that's where I kind of see him going. I don't think he's a top 5 pick on this kid, but I could see them trading up to 12, 13. And we're going to do a ton of draft stuff. I'm going to have about after the combine to the draft, I'm going to probably have about 35 to 40 videos breaking down every single draft pick. So we're going to do a lot of draft stuff here. So if the Rams fail to make the Super Bowl, do you think they blow up that team? Not necessarily. Von Miller is probably just a rental. You still have Donald, you still have Ramsey. Those are key pieces. You signed Floyd to a long-term deal. Stafford's going to be there for a while. You get Cam Akers, he's going to come back. I think you have Woods and Cup under long-term contracts. You've got to find a way to replace your left tackle, who is 74 years old. He's announced that this is going to be his last seasons, and he's played at a phenomenal level. And I'm drawing a blank on his name, but
Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah, Andrew Whitworth. Probably going to be in Canton someday. Really good left tackle. Very good player. You got to figure out a way to replace him, which is going to be so difficult because you're going to have to do it in free agency. You're not going to be able to draft somebody. So that's going to be very difficult. I think that the Rams will really struggle if they can find a way to fill that left tackle spot. I don't think this is a blow up the team type of situation at all. So, I don't. The problem with Coral is I saw. I don't trust any of the university height weight measurements. He's probably listed at like 6'2", 215. He looks like he's 5'11", 200. I don't know if he's going to come out. He's a junior. He may want to stay in school. If he has a chance to be the number one quarterback, he comes out. But I want to see what he looks like at the combine. I just a hunch. I think Dan Campbell just is really going to fall in love with Ritter. Coral's a guy that I want to see what his measurements are, because he does not look like a big dude at all. He looks like he's like 6 foot 200, and if that's the case, then I don't see an NFL team using a first round pick on him. Biggest draft at the safety position is Henderson.
What?
I don't get that, actually. Funk, didn't you say you liked Ritter? The only way I'm going to get the Lions picking at 12 is if the Eagles give up 3 and 12 for Thibodeau, and the Lions traded back and got Hamilton at 3.
Which could happen.
No, I mean, I actually, to tell you the truth, I could see the Lions getting pick number 3, and then I could see them going with Hamilton. And then in your scenario where they pick Ritter at 12, they would have to trade up, and I could see them doing that. I actually do kind of, as of right now, I mean, we got half a season left, to play, but as of right now, I would expect the Lions to trade up in the first round for a quarterback, but using their first round pick on the best defensive player available. If they're number 1, they're going to pick Thibodeau. If they're picking 3, if Hamilton's available, they'll pick 3. Lot of good defensive players are going to be available. A lot of good options. And then I could see them trading up into the first round, probably somewhere in the 12 teen, maybe early teens, and then taking a quarterback there. That's kind of what I see right now. Don't forget, everybody, you can always email me at thedanshow@yahoo.com. One thing I wanted to say this at the beginning, and I kind of got sidetracked, is this last week I lost about 10 subscribers. Don't get me wrong. If you're watching the show, you're not a fan, you unsubscribe, I won't have a problem with it. But YouTube can be kind of finicky about things. So make sure that if you are in the chat, you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I ask everybody I meet, hey, I got a YouTube channel, please subscribe. I don't have a problem if people don't like the show, but it's very unusual that I lose 10 subscribers in a week. I do think part of it is that I do follow not football related, a lot of channels that are men's self-improvement. It's quote unquote red pill content that YouTube absolutely hates. I do think that that's part of it. But if you follow the show, you're in the chat, make sure you are subscribed. YouTube is famous for doing some crazy things like that. So bold prediction, one of my Spartans becomes a Lion. Well, that's a possibility. Which do you have a prediction on which one? One Pride. And also, I want to talk a little bit about Thursday night football. I got the Jets traveling to the Colts. Jets are a 10.5-point dog. Alex, man, I'm gonna start with you, man. What do you think? Do you have a prediction for Thursday night?
I think the Colts are going to win that game. Simple as that.
Well, what about
Jets
the 10.5?
terrible. I don't care about Mike White. He's terrible too.
Can they cover 10.5? That's a big number, man.
That is a big number.
That is a
I
very
wouldn't say
big
10.5.
That's a huge number. I have a hard time with that one. I was kind of curious what you think.
I'd get like 5.5.
All right, so you got the Jets covering. Corey, you have an opinion here. I think it's an interesting Thursday night game. I think the Colts really need to kind of rebound here, but they're a 10.5 point favorite at home on Thursday night, man. What's your opinion on the game here?
Well, screwed themselves over. They could have looked pathetic against Cincinnati, and the Colts would have walked into this game like, oh, that's the Jets. They're probably going to have a top 5 pick. We can slack off. Who cares? But they beat Cincinnati. So now the Colts are going to take them seriously. And that means the Jets are going to get blown out. I don't think they'll lose by 10 because I think they'll get some garbage time touchdowns.
All right.
So I think they'll cover. I think they'll at least cover. They're not going to win, but I think they'll cover.
That's fair enough. I do have a really good prediction, and I'm stealing this from a few other people, but I completely agree with it. I'm not going to put action on this game, but if you are going to bet this game, take the under. You have two teams that are playing some pretty good defense. You have a backup quarterback, and you have Wentz who's struggling. You're not going to go pass happy. The Colts are going to try to run the ball. I expect it to be a low-scoring game. The over-under is 46. It's a high number. I really thought this would be in the low 40s, not at 46. If you are going to put action on this game, I'd recommend avoiding the 10.5. It's a crazy number. You don't know what you're going to get, but do take the under. I really like the under. I'm very close to putting action on it. After winning a prop bet, I was tempted to take Jonathan Taylor, but I think the number is 86.5. It's too high for me to bet on. So, but I do like the under in this game. I'm actually really looking forward to this game. I want to see if the Colts can rebound and try to catch up with Tennessee, or if they're just going to fall apart. They should have won that game. I cannot emphasize this enough. They had the game won against Tennessee. So, Henderson or one of our wideouts. I know you got one guy who's a sophomore. I think your best receiver is a sophomore, one Pride. You'd have to tell me. I know you got one kid you got from Georgia, the state of Georgia, not the university, who's a sophomore who I think is going to be an NFL player. I don't know about your other guys. But again, great win. Let's see here. Pride, yeah, the best player available at the position in need is the right way. And right now I see our quarterbacks be further down than top 33. So third round's earliest. I'd grab one, too much defensive talent, and no Lawrence comp. I don't know, man. I mean, if you're really this unhappy with golf, I mean, why not take a quarterback late in the first or second round? I don't get that. That's just kind of my opinion personally.
There's probably going to be one there with the Rams pick that you're going to like. So I wouldn't even trade up. I wouldn't even waste the assets. I'd just sit there with the Rams pick. You know it's going to be late in the first round, so it's not really that big of a deal. Take a quarterback then, and you're not pressured to start him right away because you're paying Jared Goff millions and millions of dollars. And make sure you just draft.
You guys stick with that contract for this year, but next the 2023 you can get rid of him. That's why getting a rookie quarterback this year makes a lot of sense.
Granted, Goff's not the best mentor in the world, but as long as because Dan Campbell is a good head coach, he's a good head coach. So your coaching staff is almost set, and I'd like to see a little moving around with Detroit's coaching staff, but they just need to have a quarterback sit for a year or two and draft receivers and get something called a defense. I know that's crazy. It's crazy to think of, this thing called a defense, but it exists. Go look at Georgia. Go do that.
I actually would expect. I really do think that Detroit's going to draft a player or two from the University of Georgia. I could completely see that happening. And Jalen Reed, I believe that's the sophomore wide receiver's name. One Pride, I believe that's the guy. If I'm correct, he's a sophomore and he looks like an NFL wide receiver. Again, I'd have to see him at the combine, but he's the guy that I believe is a sophomore who I think is going to be an NFL wide receiver. Really talented young kid. I like Hamilton, but the Lions need pass rush, and if Thibodeau is available, he should be the pick, especially if they're building from the inside out.
Unless you're picking one, he's not going to be available.
This is going to be the number one pick in the draft, unless something crazy happens. I would really take a hard look. Let's say you pick it 3 or later. You may want to take a look at Hutchinson at Michigan. It's kind of strange because I know Michigan always produces NFL talent, but it's really unusual that Michigan guys go to Detroit. But this may be a situation where you want to keep your homegrown talent. Again, I want to see what he does at the combine, but he really looks like one of the Bosa brothers. He looks like it's probably because of the 97 that he wears, but God, he reminds me of one of the Bosa brothers. So I really, really like this.
Nick Bosa is overrated.
It doesn't matter. Both Bosa brothers can play, and both of them would do really, really good on the Lions right now. So, Karlaftis, I don't even know who that is, but we're going to talk about
George Karlaftis out of Purdue.
Okay, I haven't even got to watch him play. We're going to do a lot of draft stuff though. One Pride, ton of.
Okay, he's my edge 3.
Okay, you got
edge
him.
3 or 4.
Is he a first round player?
Well, there's like 10 first round edges.
So he's number 3. So you got him as a first rounder.
So edges this year: Kayvon Thibodeau, DeMarvin Leal, depending on where you rank him, Adam Anderson, Kingsley and Agbari, Karlaftis, Aiden Hutchinson, blanking on names. Micah Sanders is definitely one of them. Brenton Cox maybe in like 32, in that range somewhere, very late. There's a lot of edge rushers this year. But let's just boil it down to a lot.
Well, yeah, we're going to talk quite a bit once the NFL season's over with. We're going to talk a lot bit about the draft. I'm probably going to have 35 to 40 videos just on the team. So I haven't had a chance to watch them play. So you got a leg up on me there. But I will say this: Hutchinson, I think, is just skyrocketing. His draft stock's just going through the roof. One Pride 40, but Brunel is our quarterback coach. There's a very good chance that with the year the Detroit Lions are having, he may get replaced. This is his first, I think it's his first year as a quarterback coach. And with the year that you're having, he may not be your quarterback coach next year. There could be some changes in your offensive coaching staff.
And if you guys go,
whether it's deserved or not,
that's rough.
Yeah, if he stays your quarterback coach, I loved Mark Brunell as a player. And but I have no idea what's going on with him as a quarterback coach. If Goff's play is as bad as you guys are saying, more than likely Brunell will be replaced once the season's over. The reason I'd pass is because the Lions have way too many holes, and Goff costs the Lions $30 million next year. So if I'm drafting, it's 2 defensive guys and a wide receiver in the first 3 picks. The reason why you want to take a quarterback is because you always want to. Well, I'm old school. I think you should have a quarterback sit a year. That's just my opinion. But all right, let's see here. I'm going to have to watch this kid play. And I was watching film on Derek Barnes last year, and Karlaftis kept jumping off the. I will watch him play. I promise. I'll get him. Now he's a J.J. Watt clone. Karlaftis.
All
right. Well, I'm going to get names wrong.
Karlaftis? Probably not. His name I can understand. His name's kind of bad. His name's kind of hard to say.
Well, let's. I mean, you guys will have to tell me because I know nothing about it. I haven't had a chance to watch him play. So
I wouldn't go as far as J.J. Watt clone. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot you're putting on a play right there.
Yes, he could be good, but J.J. Watt clone, I don't think so.
All right, guys. I'm going to cut the show a little short this week. We talked a lot about the trades. There's still a lot of stuff that's going on. Friday, I am going to break down every single game. There's also a very good chance that the Blitz Predicts is going to join me, and we're going to break down all the games. Again, I'm not putting action on the game, but I really love under 46. This is I think it's a very high number. This might be a game worth betting on. Friday, I'm going to break down every single game. And like I said, this last week I went 4-1, and I made 2 bets live on Friday's show. We'll have to see if I do that again. But anyway, if you have any questions, you can always email me, the danshow@yahoo.com. I have the alert set up. I will get back to it. Of course, if you try to message me on a Sunday, that's I shut my phone off, but that's what we got here. So I'm going to wrap up. Corey, Alex, any last comments before we end the show?
I'm set.
All right.
Detroit, you're terrible.
All right, guys. Hey, Friday, I'm going to break down every single game. So come back Friday. I'm going to have a great show planned. I'll see you guys Friday.